Hey, what is up, everybody? It's your boy Nerdercane once again, here doing a driving video. Here's something I want to do every week, and I think this is going to be kind of fun, and I really hope you guys enjoy this. This is going to be, I think I'm going to call this my elevator pitch of the week. I'm going to take a couple comics that are coming out this week that I like, that I'm interested in, and I'm going to do a quick 5-minute pitch on why I think you guys should go out there, spend your hard-earned to pick them up. First one I want to do is The Farmhand. Now, this is from an artist, and it's drawn by the same guy who wrote it. So it's a passion project of his. That, almost always in and of itself, a passion project of an artist, are things that I really like, because that has a level of craft to it. The story and the look have been crafted together by the artist, and what you get is really good comic books when they can do that. It's a rare skill to be able to write and draw. I think I can write. I think I'm doing a pretty good job writing. I need to get some more time in front of the keyboard, but I can't draw. I'm very envious of that level of skill. But this is Farmhand, and his name is escaping me right now, but it's done by the guy who used to do Chew. Now, Chew is written by a guy who is very self-destructive, very toxic in the industry with the fans. He's one of those guys who basically kind of falls along the lines of, if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. He says this thing, and I believe he said things like that in the past. But this is The Farmhand, and it's sort of a sci-fi, it's a low sci-fi story about a family, and the father is basically a farmer, and he created this type of seed that can grow human organs and limbs for replacement in people, and he has this farm. It started out as just a simple, humble farm. You're seeing this through the viewpoint of the son, and there are definitely, in the first issue, they hadn't seen each other in years, so there's a rift that time has sort of healed, but the problem with rifts that are healed by time is they're not actually healed. If you've ever known of things like this, they're not actually healed, they're just, the bruise is gone, and there's just scar tissue there. The scar tissue is very brittle. If you know anything about the dermis, the skin. So issue 1 was very interesting. It did everything that an issue 1 is supposed to do. It brought you into the story, brought you up to speed, and then hooked you with characters that are multi-dimensional. You leave issue 1 thinking, is the father altruistic? Is he sort of a maniac? Is he sort of a mad scientist? What's going on here? It does what you really want an issue 1 to do, and it's doing it very well. So that's my recommendation. The Farmhand number 2 comes out tomorrow. I think you can probably find Farmhand 1. I think it's going to be a really great book. I think it's going to be a really interesting story, and it deserves your money. It deserves to be purchased. So that's number 1. Number 2 is Port of Earth. Now, this is done by Zach Kaplan and Andre Muti. Now, I like when I'm right, and it seems like I'm right. I said a long time ago that this book is sort of an allegory for immigration in Europe, and from what I'm seeing, I think I'm right. It's telling a sci-fi story of, we made first contact with aliens, and it turns out that the aliens were a corporation. What we made contact with wasn't, holy cow, oh my god, I just almost saw a dude on a scooter get run over here on Edgewood. Holy crap. Anyway, I just got distracted by some dude almost dying. But anyway, so this corporation asks and sort of makes a deal with Earth to create a station. They need the water. They have an engine that uses water as fuel, and they need our H2O, which is just a bad idea already. But the storytelling is very interesting because in the beginning of every issue, there's sort of this interview between the human representative of the corporation and an interviewer on Earth television. And as you see more and more throughout these issues, there's just an ominous tone to the questions that you start. At first, it's just like, oh, kind of a fluff piece. The guy's telling about the port and the deal that was made. But as the issues have gone along, you start to see and you start to hear from this interview that maybe the port isn't what we think it is. Maybe the deal wasn't as good a deal as we thought it was. Maybe it might have been a deal done at gunpoint. But as Diversity in Comics said, he said he was waiting for this to be a movie, and I think it will be a movie, or I think it'll be an HBO series. This story is going to go somewhere. So this is your opportunity to get in on the ground floor of something, so you can be one of those book snobs to say, oh, the book was better. But now this is issue 8 that's coming out tomorrow, so you can go. I believe you can go track this down on trade paperback. Actually, yeah, I think the trade paperback for the first 6 or 7 issues just came out, so you can go track that down. I highly recommend it. It's a very interesting story, and it's a very good, if you're an aspiring writer, this is a really good example of allegory from the real world. It's not heavy-handed, it's not overt, it's very subtle. It's you're reading the pages, but every once in a while it just slips in a very subtle clue that this is pertaining to something in the real world. This is an allegory. This is something very interesting. I think it's a really, really good. I think it's going to be a really good example of good writing. Sales of it are down. That's why I'm doing the pitch. I think there are about 5,000 issues or 5,000 copies per issue. That's really low, but it's an Image book, so, it's Image. But I think it deserves more. I think it deserves your money. It's well written. This is once again, another craft comic. This is what Image is supposed to be doing instead of, weirdo, bizarro stuff that we're getting. But that's my 2. Also, if you see G.I. Joe, pick up G.I. Joe. The G.I. Joe books that are going on right now are really good. Oh, my God. There was a story like maybe 2-3 months ago about Stryker that was amazing. It was one of the best comic books I've read in years, and definitely in years. But I guess if that's a 2.5, this is my 2+1 recommendation is The Farmhand, which comes out fresh tomorrow. Get it? Fresh. I'm sorry I did that. Port of Earth, which you can pick up the trade paperback, and a fresh issue comes out tomorrow. And G.I. Joe, if you haven't read a G.I. Joe book in years, come back, visit your old friend. You're going to find out your old friend is doing just fine. Larry Hama, still knocking it out of the park. He still loves the franchise. He still loves what he's doing there. But that's my recommendation. Thanks for your time. I'll wrap this up now, but you can hit me here. You can hit me on Twitter. Hit a like and subscribe. Thank you for your time. And go have a good new comic book day. I'm glad I got to do a video that's kind of upbeat, because there's been so many really bad things going on in nerddom over this past week. But thanks for your time. Have a good day.